hypnosis type of state over what they were seeing. And in my dream, I was so furious. I believe I broke the TV. And I couldn't believe what I seen. I couldn't believe these young boys were performing in these sexual acts. I couldn't believe that it was on TV, and I couldn't believe how it caught my children's eyes, how it just like completely put them in like a hypnosis state. And that also made me very angry in my dream. And I after I seen that, I woke up because I was so mad at what I seen on the TV and how it affected my children. And my boys. It was my two boys. I do have a daughter, but it was just my two boys. And like I said, the women were all fake. So it was like this world that I was at, or in this future that I was at. There were no real women, and it was just very young boys. It's so gross and so sad. Very young boys, doing, performing sexual acts and sodomy. So I just been coming across a whole bunch of other research and everything about how robots are gonna be such a major influence in our lives shortly, if they're not already, because Alexa and even the iPhone with Siri, and so much stuff, that how technology is coming into play and being a part of our lives. I strongly urge you to really pray and protect your children from these things that they see on the TV, because the way that my children were hypnotized to this TV, they couldn't turn away. They didn't even blink. Their eyes were glued. So I just pray and pray and pray. You guys have to pray over your children. I prayed against that, but if this is something that the Lord showed me, then it's obviously gonna come. So I just want to inform you guys and warn you that this is another dream that I had. And then I also had on the 29th, so I guess the next night, I had another dream. I live out here in LA, so I had another dream that the waters started to rise, and I was watching them rise. And when I say rise, like, they were rising what seemed to be like every hour, and I was watching it rise from like some type of viewpoint. And I was just looking down, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at these waters, they're rising. And I was it was kind of weird, because it was like, I guess I've never been to Niagara Falls, but I see people, going to they have like these viewpoints from like the edge, and you can look down and you can see the water fall over the cliff. That's what this, that's kind of what I was looking through. And I just kept watching the waters rise, and it seemed slow in my dream, but it was really fast, and how much they rose, like every hour, it seems like they rose like a whole floor, a whole story. There's this one certain house that I remember seeing, and it sits on Pacific Coast Highway, by the Santa Monica Pier. And I believe the house is probably about 4 to 5 stories, from the ground. And I remember saying, oh my gosh, that pink and purple house is completely underwater. Santa Monica Mall that they have out there is completely underwater. And then I was just watching it. The water just kept rising, every hour. And then it was finally, I was just like, okay, it's time for me to go because the waters are getting close. So and that's how that dream ended. And I just ask that you guys pray over these dreams, and that you also get confirmation from the Lord that this is something that is going to happen. And definitely protect your eye gates and stuff through these televisions and stuff. What they're going to be putting on here is I fear is going to be something so disgusting and completely against God and his creation that he had for mankind. And it was a world without women, well, real women, and the women that they had were fake, and they were only for pleasure. They were not for anything of love, and they definitely weren't married or anything like that. So I love you, my brothers and sisters, and I will make a video again if I have any other dreams. Have a good night, and God bless.